I'm not sure that I chose ayahuasca. I think ayahuasca chose me.
The love that is experienced during the process, I'm just going to say it, is far greater than any Christian religious experience that I've ever had.
That loosening was actually one of the most liberating experiences that I have had.
Hey, I'm Shelly, and you just saw my sisters in Aya. In November 2021, a group of individuals who identified as Black, Indigenous, and people of color journeyed to Peru to heal with a plant medicine called ayahuasca. I wanted to document the transformation, so I filmed the clips you're about to see. Here are the stories of 4 women, myself included, as we share our journey and our healing with Mama Aya.
I had studied on ayahuasca quite a bit, maybe 2 or 3 years prior to receiving the calling. And at first I said no because I was afraid based on what I'd seen on YouTube. And after doing some soul searching and meditation, decided to say yes, and it was one of the best things I could have done.
My journey with ayahuasca and grandmother was happened very organically as well. I had friends that were just speaking of the plant medicine that they were working with. I never really understood fully what that meant. And then when I was living in Oakland, there were 2 or 3 people who were journeying with the same community. And I just felt drawn to it. It's nothing that I ever really researched or like went diving into, but it just started coming across my path. And finally, when I was ready to just open up and surrender, everything aligned and I was able to join my first sit.
It was, a mutual connection. I saw a documentary years ago on ayahuasca, and I immediately, after watching it, I was so eager to experience that I said, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it in Peru. I would encourage people to be open to different forms of healing. And the reason I say that is because being a preacher's kid and growing up with only one way to look at something, one way to experience something, quite honestly, if I'm just going to be flat out with it, it just doesn't work. Everything that I have experienced outside of Christianity, all of the things that I was told was evil, like yoga and meditation, and you shouldn't do this and that, I found it to be the best medicine for me. The love that is experienced during the process, I'm just going to say it, is far greater than any Christian religious experience that I've ever had. And it's just the truth. And so I would encourage people to be open yourself up to new experiences. And my question always is, if God is everything, then why are we not experiencing different things?
I had gone maybe 26, 27 years not really having a close, loving relationship with my father and kind of holding resentment and anger against him for divorcing my brother and me when he divorced my mother. And he did it when my brother was still young. So he didn't show up to my brother's high school graduation. He married somebody else. He was taking care of someone else's kids instead of, being there for my wedding. Didn't meet my husband, didn't know my children. So there was a lot of resentment and there was a lot of hurt there. And I'd had 2 ceremonies, just 2, with ayahuasca. And in that second ceremony, I purged, and I purged hard. And I felt it come out with the purge. I felt the release of the anger, the resentment, anything that was not serving my highest good and not living my whole life, it came out with that purge. And 4 days later, I was hugging my father sincerely in a way I had not done in 28 years. And we have been close, close, close ever since, as though 28 years did not pass. So this plant is a healing plant. It's not just for our physical body. It's not just for our spiritual experience. It is going to break down traumas and pain that we've been carrying since we were children in a way that is unbelievable. Someone would not be able to tell me that that could happen in 2 nights. 2 nights.
This is embodiment. The energy of Grandmother Aya, as we've said, has a very loving yet firm presence. And with that conscious mind really being put aside, and the ability to dive deeper into that limbic storage, the subconscious, the cellular level that we're working with, I personally also been able to work through years and years of early life trauma, depression, anxiety. For years, I suffered from suicidal ideation, and I had therapists of my own. I did healing work, body work, energy work, and there's just something really special about the way that ayahuasca allows you to journey deep within yourself with guidance, with support, and you're actually recalibrating, reconfiguring your cellular encoding.
There was a so-called family curse that came up that I purged. This was a secret that was in my family that was manifested in my mother's physical being. When she was alive, I knew her to be sick longer than I knew her to be well. She had always something going on within her body. When we begin to question, we begin to actually get answers from spirit, because nobody in my family would talk. But during ceremony 4, the purge that came through was all of the rest of that.
That's right.
Because we heal in layers. And we heal what we're ready to release in the moment.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't always get to the absolute root. But Grandmother Aya,
She does not.
she gonna take you to the root
That's
cause.
right.
And that was released.
Mama Aya does take you to the root so you can completely uproot from whatever is ailing you. For me, I've talked about this before. It was my 30-year addiction to white sugar. Y'all, I craved it. I overate it. I binged it. And it just didn't matter how many fasts and cleanses or sugar detoxes I did. It always came back. But then Mama Aya made sure that it wouldn't. Y'all, she went in and she leached it. Leached it from my body. I'm talking withdrew it from every crevice and every corner. So much so that when I was purging it, my vomit tasted sweet. And ever since then, my taste buds have been reset. And when I see white sugar, it reminds me of the vomit that I purged. I'm not interested. She's literally changed me. And I do not crave it anymore. And no part of me is interested.
I was Oreo in high school. I was wannabe white. I don't want the label of Black, American, woman, because anytime we put a label on something, it comes with automatic restrictions that other people have. And other people's restrictions do not identify me. When I say Black, American, woman, it means something. And none of those things define this spirit.
I have been on all sides of the spectrum of identifying with Blackness. When I was younger, I found it really hard to feel included. Comments about being the white girl or not Black enough or not knowing certain things. The Blackness was supposed to exude. And then I figured out how to fit in. I figured out how to do the Blackness and do it the way that it was supposed to happen. I will say one of my saving graces was going to Spelman College and being immersed in the HBCU. Okay. All right. So that was very helpful because that gave me a range that helped me see like, no, we're not a monolith. Like this is the range of Blackness, and it's a beautiful spectrum, and I fit in wherever that is. One life, many bodies.
Yeah.
One life, many bodies. To be able to embody the beauty of who I am, and also experience the love and the compassion of the oneness. Attachment to identities was a core theme that Mama decided to work me through releasing. And it was painful. There was an element of grieving that I did. So if I'm not Black, woman, queer, if that is not who I am, then what? What am I doing? What's happening? Isn't that the whole reason that we're here? So particularly for me was learning to release the attachment to the identities. And I found a really beautiful, compassionate way of seeing the both and how I can both honor, love, and appreciate the body that I decided to come to earth in. This is the physical vessel that carries me through life. And that physical vessel experiences some things. Yet that is not my identity.
I grew up in a 2-parent home in the inner city of Detroit, surrounded by people who didn't know who their fathers were. You know, they're single mother homes, and my family was like an anomaly to the whole, environment. And I would hear all the time, Black men don't take care of their children. And I'm like, they don't? Because I'm in this environment, this church environment where everybody gets married. As a matter of fact, you don't even get divorced if you don't like each other. Divorce is not a thing. It's not something that happens. I grew up with people with 12 children, 18 children, because there was no birth control. So I grew up in this whole cocoon where this world is saying these are these Black people, and I'm seeing a completely different experience of who Black people are. And then I enter corporate America.
Whole different world.
Oh my God. You have this work environment where energetically, I didn't even know energy at that time. I didn't know what I was feeling. But energetically, people are at odds without even opening their mouths.
Right.
What is happening here? Then I started to see white culture. This is what people are talking about. I was sheltered. I did not know, then I experienced it. However, I grew to understand that it is a culture, which means it's something that is a program. As well, Black people are running a program. So since these programs are happening, who's being played? We all are. Everyone. So when are we going to get to the truth? And I feel like that's what Grandmother Aya, we are safe to surrender to what it is that we need to hear and heal.
Y'all, I didn't know that my Blackness needed healing. I grew up with a Jamaican mom and a Black American dad who were proud of their skin and their African ancestry. And they taught me to be the same. I attended and graduated from Spelman College in ADW, aka Africa, the Diaspora in the World. Shout out to ADW, was my favorite class. I believed in Black liberation and working towards it. But y'all, little did I know that I needed to be liberated from the label Black. In my first of 6 ayahuasca ceremonies, Mama Aya purged me of the programming. She showed me that the label Black was toxic to my being, and it was getting in the way of me being the fullest version of myself. Because the label Black came with a narrative of a historic burden and a prejudged future. Mama Aya said, You are not black. You are earth. You are the original imprint. You are the original people. When that label fell off, y'all, I felt like I shedded skin. Several lifetimes of negative connotations and a history that had been stunted in slavery when there's so much more. But that was replaced with a God body that was the same color of the earth.
Do it. And the period. And the reason is because it's the root. It's earth. It is a medicine that I know is designed for all humans, but I especially feel it's designed for melanated people. Not to exclude anyone else, but we don't see much of us doing it. It's not out there like it is for everyone else. So I would really suggest that it's experienced, and be ready to do the work. Be ready to surrender. Be ready to allow the flow of the spirit through you. And then check into any doubts and any fears that you have. Where are those coming from? Who told you that? Is it yours? Probably not. So I suggest that if you're going to experience this, tap into your own innate and get the answer from there.
There you have it. The answer is yes, do it. And know that if you are watching this video, it's because Mama Aya has already called you. If you're looking for a community to safely journey with, then I highly recommend Lotus Vine Journeys, because that's who we journeyed with. And if you want to know more about my particular ayahuasca journey and all the things, all of them, that I experienced, that I healed and learned, then check out these other videos. They're also linked below. Thank you, plant medicine, for growing, for being, for existing. Thank you, Mama Aya. And thank you for watching, because you're already on the path. Go. Let her heal you. Be well.